We are showing you visuals, viewers. We're reporting those scenes from different locations of the world. Across the globe, there is mounting anger and there is a demand for justice. Justice for those innocent lives that have been lost on the soil of India, in Kashmir. And right now, as we speak, these are visuals from several places, like from Canada, Copenhagen in Denmark, London also, and in fact Barcelona also. Fresh visuals coming in from Spain's Barcelona and in Finland also. In fact, we have Daniel Bodman who is joining us on the broadcast. I believe he is connected with us. Daniel, if you can hear me.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I don't know if he's connected to us or not, and I want to know his location. Daniel Bodman is joining us live on the broadcast. For more, Daniel, well, this is a global outrage. He's joining. Okay, Daniel is joining us from Canada, of course. And tell us more. What are you picking up as far as this outrage against Pakistan, outrage against terror is continuing?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So last night in Toronto, Canada, there was a vigil for the victims of the terrorist attack in Kashmir, India. And it was a really powerful event. So of course, it was very sad. The horrible scenes we all saw in Kashmir. Targeted religious violence by the jihadists, going up to people. It wasn't a shooting spree or anything. That is actually a very cold and calculated, intentional execution spree of people who were not Islamic. So mostly Hindus, and I think one Christian man was executed, and some bystanders as well tried to stop the terrorists. So there was a great vigil, and I was actually really proud to see one. My own Jewish community. There were many Jews who attended, and I was happy to see that. There were also many Iranians, anti-regime Iranians, who came out to support the people of India and the Hindus, because they are obviously very opposed to radical Islamists, and they understood what was happening. There's a big Baloch contingent as well. So it was a very great display of unity in Toronto. So they might not have been mainstream media coverage, but there was a lot of community support for India and what the Hindus have been going through. And I was actually really proud of the Hindu community for coming out in good numbers and being really sort of proud and forward, because I think the message that the terrorists are trying to send is there should be no Hindus in Kashmir. It should be a fully Islamic state in all things. And we've seen that because, there's been 7 genocides of Hindus in Kashmir going back to as recently as 1990. So to see the message put out that Hinduism must be erased, and then have the Hindu community respond by being sort of more publicly Hindu and more proud, and sort of maintaining that identity in the face of evil. I thought that was a really powerful demonstration from the community. And I think the people of Toronto really got behind them, because, the Western media might want to just ignore this, and Canada has its own things. We're going to an election tomorrow, so there's a lot going on here. But for an election, for a Saturday night, there's a playoff hockey game, sort of like IPL playoffs. I don't know if that'd be the equivalent in Toronto. So even with all that, still a very strong turnout, and I think there's vast community support for the Hindu community, because I think a lot of people understand now, especially because in Canada we have radical Islamists vandalizing and harassing the city on a weekly basis in Toronto. So I think everyone kind of sees the face of the enemy, and we stand united with the victims of terror. And we're not going to pretend that the terrorists are the human rights activists. That was a message put out there. So,
yes, very.
Yeah, sorry. If you're saying, obviously you wouldn't want to be there,
because this really reflects.
I'm happy with what the response was.
Absolutely, because there are so many countries. These people, they all have a shared experience of terrorism, and it needs to be, called out without any sort of bias. There is always this global. There is always some, sort of compromise when it comes to, as you were also pointing out, how the global media also often covers such news. But the fact that there are people from across continents that are coming together, because this is a growing threat. This is a growing threat, and it has grown almost a lot in a monstrous way. And every part, all those countries, even like Australia, which did not have a history of witnessing that kind of terrorism, are experiencing that. And everybody must come together and call out those sponsoring terror and those even siding with terror, those who are sponsoring these countries who sponsor terror, those who are supplying arms and ammunition to these countries.
Yes, yes, that's perfectly true. And I think of a lot of people. We live in a globally connected world, so this isn't 1990 where there's no internet and you're hoping that a New York Times columnist picks up on the story of what's really going on in Kashmir. This is a globally connected world. There are many different communities, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, of all type, who have faced the exact same type of hatred. It's radical Islamist terrorists. We all know what this is, and I think it's not this isn't something you can shut your eyes and just say, oh, it only happens in Kashmir, and well, if we just remove all the Hindus from Kashmir, they'll be happy and stop there. No, they'll get more aggressive, they'll get more violent, and then they'll find a new area to expand to, and that could be in Canada. So it's important that we all remain united in the face of this threat, because for many years we've all been taking on this threat sort of individually as it sees us, and then everyone kind of sits on the sideline hoping to sort of stay out of the fray. But I think everything's gone on so long that I think there's a real understanding for those communities that face discrimination from radical Islamists. We have to stick together, or else we'll sort of be bulldozed over. So again, you don't want to see something that's happened. Of course, we don't want to see another terrorist attack in Kashmir. We hope there's never another terrorist attack everywhere, anywhere, at any time. But there is going to be. This is a problem we have to threat. And in the face of these threats, it is good that communities can stand united together. And we don't need the CBC or the Toronto Star or any of these establishment organizations to cover something for people to understand about it. We have there are many different vectors of information dissemination these days. That it's good that the victims of the Kashmiri terrorist attack can get their story told, and it won't get warped and distorted by whatever the CBC's editorial process may be.
Yes, Daniel, very rightly put. Thank you so much, Daniel Bodman.